It started on a dreary Monday morning at LAX, the kind where even celebrities could fade into the gray noise of boarding calls and security beeps. Keanu Reeves, clad in a well-worn leather jacket and a black beanie, stood in the TSA line like any other passenger. No entourage, no first-class priority, just a barcode on his phone and a calm, almost monk-like demeanor. The agent barely glanced at him. Next, Keanu gave a polite nod and shuffled forward. He had purposely booked a last-minute commercial flight, an economy seat in row 18, wanting to experience anonymity. He told himself it was an exercise in humility. What he didn't expect was complete invisibility. At gate 53C, he sat near a vending machine, sipping stale coffee and reading The Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. The teenage girl across from him glanced up, blinked, then returned to her TikTok. An older couple nearby debated whether Ryan Gosling or that other guy from The Matrix was more charming. The boarding call came. People surged to the gate. Keanu waited patiently, clutching a small backpack. As he approached the gate agent, she scanned his ticket with mechanical indifference. Reeves, Keanu, middle seat, row 18. She muttered without a flicker of recognition. He blinked. Middle seat. Yup, right between 18B and 18D. He stifled a chuckle. Of all the indignities. On board, the experience continued its steady descent into surrealism. The man in 18A was already asleep, with headphones blaring classic rock. The woman in 18C glanced up as Keanu slid into 18B, her eyes narrowing slightly. "You're tall," she said, annoyed. "Try not to hog the armrest." Keanu gave a small bow. "I'll do my best." She didn't respond. As the plane taxied down the runway, Keanu reclined, or tried to, and smiled faintly at the absurdity of it all. Here he was, internationally famous, a pop culture icon, yet not a single soul had recognized him. For the first hour of the flight, he sat quietly, his knees jammed into the seat ahead, his presence unnoticed, his identity irrelevant. And then the turbulence hit. A sudden lurch sent plastic cups tumbling, followed by a sharp mechanical clunk from beneath the floor. The fastened seat belt sign chimed as nervous murmurs rippled through the cabin. Flight attendants rushed to reassure passengers, but something in their eyes betrayed concern. The captain's voice crackled through the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing a minor issue with the auxiliary power unit. Please remain seated." Keanu sat up straight. He could feel it. Something was off. He leaned toward the woman in 18C. "Stay calm," he said gently. She rolled her eyes. "Oh, what are you? Some kind of movie hero?" Keanu didn't answer, because right then, the lights flickered and the cabin fell silent. For a moment, the only sound in the cabin was the low whine of the engines and the occasional creak of overhead compartments settling. Passengers glanced at one another, unsure if this was routine or the beginning of something worse. Then a flight attendant stumbled into the aisle. Her walkie-talkie crackled faintly, but no sound came through. "Is everything okay?" someone shouted. The attendant forced a tight smile. "Just a precaution, folks. We're working with the cockpit. Please stay seated." Keanu's brow furrowed. He knew that tone. It was the same kind used by directors when the cameras failed mid-shoot. Calm on the surface, panic just beneath. He unbuckled his seatbelt. "Sir, you need to stay seated," the attendant snapped. "I'm not trying to cause trouble," Keanu said, standing slowly. "But something's wrong, isn't it?" The attendant stared at him, mouth opening to protest. Then she paused. Recognition flickered across her face, followed by uncertainty. "Wait, aren't you?" Before she could finish, a loud bang echoed from the back of the aircraft, followed by a flicker of sparks near the galley. People screamed. Smoke curled from the rear service door. Keanu sprang into motion. He turned to the woman in 18C. "Get low. Cover your mouth with your sleeve." "What's happening?" "Electrical fire, I think." "Stay calm." A flight attendant began to shout instructions. her voice cracking with fear. People jostled in their seats, unsure whether to flee or freeze. Keanu jogged toward the back, ducking low as the cabin began to fill with the acrid smell of burning plastic. He knelt beside the source, grabbed a service card, and used it to batter open the maintenance hatch beneath the rear cabin lights. Smoke poured out. "Back up," he yelled. The other flight attendant ran over with a handheld extinguisher. "I don't know how to." Keanu took it from her. "I do." He aimed the nozzle and squeezed. Foam hissed into the smoking panel, choking the fire down in spurts. Sparks flew, but the foam held. Within seconds, the smoke began to thin. Behind him, someone gasped. "Holy crap, that's John Wick." But he didn't turn around. His focus was on the panel, watching for flare-ups. When it finally fizzled into silence, Keanu exhaled and turned to the flight crew. "Get in touch with the cockpit. Tell them to prep for an emergency descent." Now the murmurs started. Someone snapped a photo. Others whispered his name. The woman from 18C stared wide-eyed as he returned to his seat. "Are you really him?" Keanu gave a small smile. "Guess someone finally noticed." The murmurs built like a wave, rippling from row to row. Whispers turned to stares. Phones appeared in shaky hands. Somewhere near the front, a man declared, "I told you he looked familiar," while a teenager near the emergency exit whispered, "No way. That's Keanu Reeves." Keanu gave a half-smile, sinking back into his seat as the plane began its descent. The air still carried a faint trace of smoke. Tension hung thick. Flight attendants scrambled down the aisle, reassuring passengers, now more curious than scared. A voice cracked over the intercom again. "This is your captain speaking. We've initiated an emergency landing protocol and will be touching down in approximately 15 minutes. Please remain calm, seated, and secure." Applause broke out, not for the captain. It rippled from the back forward, passengers clapping for the man in 18B. Keanu tried to wave it off. The woman beside him stared, stunned. "Why didn't you say something?" Keanu shrugged. "Didn't seem important at the time. You saved the plane. I did what anyone should do." She blinked. "No, you did what only you would do." As the plane made its final approach, the energy shifted from panic to awe. People leaned over their seats to thank him. A kid offered him his snack pack. The guy in 18A woke up just in time to see Keanu nodding politely to a row of grateful strangers. "Wait, is this a dream?" he muttered, rubbing his eyes. Keanu chuckled. "Depends. Did your dream include foam extinguishers and a middle seat?" The wheels hit the tarmac with a screech, the cabin lurching forward. Gasps filled the air, followed by cautious relief. A beat later, a cheer broke out as the brakes whined and the plane slowed to a halt on an emergency access runway. Emergency crews approached on the tarmac, but the danger had already passed. As the plane taxied slowly toward a holding area, a flight attendant approached Keanu, still breathless. "Sir, I just wanted to thank you. You really kept things from getting worse." Keanu smiled warmly. "You all did your part. I just hate seeing people afraid." She hesitated. "Do you mind if I tell the cockpit that you were the one who—" He held up a hand gently. "Let's land first. Then let's just tell them someone stepped up. But let's keep it simple." Yet words spread like wildfire. By the time the stairs rolled up to the aircraft door, a small crowd had gathered on the tarmac. Firefighters, airport staff, even a few reporters who had caught wind of the emergency. And there he was, descending the aircraft steps calmly. Keanu Reeves, a forgotten passenger no more. The moment Keanu's boots touched the tarmac, cameras flashed. "Keanu, is it true you helped stop a fire on board? What happened inside the plane? Is it true no one recognized you?" He raised a hand, modestly shielding his face. "Everyone did their part. It's over now, we're safe. That's what matters." But the world had already decided the story wasn't over. Airport security escorted passengers toward the terminal, while Keanu lingered behind with the flight crew and the captain, who had come down from the cockpit with a mix of confusion and gratitude etched into his features. "You're telling me Keanu Reeves put out the fire?" The flight attendant nodded. He did it without hesitation. The captain turned to him. "Well, Mr. Reeves, I think I owe you more than a drink voucher." Keanu smirked. "I'll take a smooth landing next time." They shared a laugh. Inside the terminal, passengers took selfies with him. Some cried. Others simply thanked him quietly, as if they'd just witnessed something sacred. It was more than just celebrity. It was dignity, quiet courage, and presence. A small boy tugged on Keanu's jacket. "Were you scared?" he asked. Keanu knelt to eye level. "Yeah, a little. But being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you keep going anyway." The boy nodded like it was the most important thing he'd ever heard. Eventually, Keanu slipped away through a side corridor, ducking out of the spotlight. He didn't wait for media interviews or fanfare. That wasn't why he had booked that flight. He found a quiet bench near baggage claim, sat down, and looked at his hands. They smelled faintly of extinguisher foam. A maintenance worker wandered by and did a double take. "Hey, I don't mean to bother you," the man said hesitantly. "But that was you up there, right? The fire?" Keanu nodded slowly. "Yeah, I guess it was." "You saved a lot of people, man. That's damn inspiring." Keanu smiled faintly. "We're all passengers, you know. Some days you're the one who stands up." The man nodded slowly, still in awe, then walked away shaking his head and muttering, "Man, Keanu Reeves." Keanu leaned back, exhaling. For once, being unrecognized had felt like a gift. It had given him the space to be, no scripts, no fame, just a man doing what needed to be done.